And an inmate in Madison County is now convicted of sending and receiving explicit images of children on a prison-issued tablet. Investigators found Edward Wynn used a prison-issued tablet to receive child pornography from the internet, which he also distributed to other inmates. A search of the tablet showed more than 400 explicit images of children. Wynn was arrested in 2015 after being convicted of multiple counts of possession of child pornography. He was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison, which will begin once he finishes his initial state sentence in 2051. He is set to be on supervised release for the rest of his life upon release.